Hello everyone, Crystal back here, and I'm back to drawing. Now, something happened in my D&D campaign that I missed, and now I have to end a nice little series. Yeah, the Luxio has finally evolved into a Luxray while I was gone! So I'm gonna draw the Luxio Zorark hybrid. So first, label your layers. At least at the start. That's what I like to do. Also, when you're picking colors, I personally like picking colors that I will not use in the actual project. So Luxray is mostly this blue with yellow, obviously black, but I can't really draw white on white, with red because of the Zoroark. So my colors are green, purple, pink, and orange. I like green. It's bright. And not gonna mix that up with anything. So, let's start, obviously, with the proportions as I labeled. Now, this doesn't have to be super detailed, like, at all. Like, just circles. It doesn't even have to be clean circles, just draw a circle. Okay. We good? We got the circles? Good. Now let's copy, paste. Yeah, no shame. No shame at all. Now, let me go find a decent pose for this. What kind of pose do I want from this? I think something like that. Okay, so if I'm going to go for something like that, then I want this to represent the leg. Actually, I should probably start with the body. Body's like there-ish. Yeah, and then legs come out from there. The bottom. Of course, no shame in overlapping. We'll erase it later. And then legs. One leg there. Well, starts there and then it'll go down like this. Yes. Again, don't worry about it. And then the back leg be like there-ish. Whoop. Yeah. Great. Something like this. No, I know, it's a mess. Don't worry about it. Oops, don't do that. Because I actually need this to be transparent later. Oh wait, did I forget to... that's fine. No one really needs to see the formation of this mess. And now we're gonna erase. Yeah, make it look somewhat readable. So, this is the body, this is that leg. And if this is the back leg, we erase that. And we erase this. Great. Now, if this is the body, need to erase these. Actually, this is the front leg, so I want to erase a... Actually, yeah, this is fine. Bottom... back leg. Front leg is this, so I want to erase that. And slowly you're seeing it kind of come together. Again, kind of. This is the other leg, so we don't really need this overlap. There. You can kind of see what I'm going for with all these circles. And now let's make a new layer. And give it a different color. And label it. Yes, now we're getting into sketch part. So now, let's sketch in the details of this Luxray. Using this as the base of the head. And I'll see you after the cut. And I'm back. How did you enjoy that little segment? Well, now, after we've sketched it all out, even if they're on wrong layers, it's fine. I'm not even gonna keep both of them, honestly. We get into line art. Now, I like my line art to be black, but if you really want to, you can make the line art the same color as your piece. I just prefer making it black so then I don't have to make different line art layers, because that would be frustrating for me. Anyways, see you back at, after I line it. Alright, and we're back. So now that it's lined, because we don't really need these anymore. Unless the client wants them. Then you should probably keep those. But since my D&D game doesn't, I'm just not gonna keep them. And now it's time to cheat a little bit. So let's start with the blacks. But you don't never use pure black like I do when you're coloring. You never do that. You never use pure blacks for coloring, unlike line art. You move it a little up there for whatever blue you want to use. So since Luxray is like this blue, I'll use this black. And as you can see, it's fairly close anyways to black, that no one can really tell that it is. At least by our definition. And honestly, should look fine. I mean, we can come in and clean up those little white spots later. Now the blues. I believe Luxray is this blue. Just going to cheat a little. Yes. So far so good. Next. Is the yellows. I mean, so long as you know what it is. But I should probably respell that so then you can tell what it is yourself. Oh, I should probably fix that, but that's fine. Let's raise it. Yeah. So we'll do that, and this, and that. And now we just fill in where we want the blues to be. Again, we'll fill in the little white spots later. And now the reds. This is where I mainly want the reds. And now for mouth and teeth and such, I label them different things. In our mouth. For this area. The tongue. Now you might say, Crystal, why are you even bothering with the teeth? Because I plan on giving this a background, that's why I bother. And as you can see, that's why anything with white needs to be very careful with it. And that's basically the base coloring except for, you know, filling on the gaps. So I'll be back with that. we are back. So I added some red fur because this is the part where I shade and give texture. So, looking at the reference, Zoroark has a few black spots on the head of its mane and red spot on the end of its tail. So, to replicate that, we go into the red fur, grab the eraser, and just start erasing what we don't need, as if, well, they were little tufts. So, something like that. And the way you erase will become very relevant a little bit later. As you can see, kind of already has that, like, fur-like texture. So, with this tail part, I want to erase a lot of it until we get right to the edge, round here-ish. Then I just shade it in like that. Just for like strokes. Don't worry if that bleeds through, in my opinion. And see, it's starting to look more like what we want. Now, obviously, shading is a bit easier. You make a new layer. I use multiply for any shadows, and overlay for any lights, unless it's like a fairly dark color like this one, then just normal and blur should be just fine. And now but let me show you a quick what I mean. So this is connected to the over top of the red fur, so it'll work better with the red. Now, let's say I want a little bit of shadow here. And here. See? Compare this to the normal, and you see how much darker it is. Now I like using the blur just for the edges. Do not go too crazy with it. Just with the edges to soften them up. Like that. But I also like using this multiply feature kind of like for the dark patches of fur we might see. So something like that. And then this is where you can go a little nuts with it. With the blur. And see? Looks more fur-like. And then you do the same thing with the overlay in a new layer, and it'll also help give it that nice shine too. Unless you really, really want it to be shiny, I wouldn't use the glow function. Like, I usually use the glow function for things like metal, very, very shiny objects, like maybe porcelain plates, china plates, you know, that kind of stuff. Because even with water, it doesn't really glow. let me just show you how I personally do water on this thing in another layer. So water, you know, is transparent, right? So, whoops. Make sure it's on white. I switch over using the X key. So let's just do that. Lower the opacity a little bit, or quite a bit actually, because again, water. Blur, and see, looking kind of wet-ish. And then after that, I use the pen. Again, make sure it's white. And then just... see? Something like that. On another layer. See? Something like that. And that's how I personally do it, but this particular Pokemon is not wet, so we're not going to keep that. Anyways, see you after the cut. are back. So, now that we are satisfied and happy with how the end product looks, just make a folder, label it properly, click the top, hold shift, click the bottom to select everything, and plop it all in. Now for backgrounds. Of course, I like starting with the sky. So if you want a more daytime sky, I say start with something of this color. Also, make sure you turn your referred layers off while doing that. But for a more night sky, I go for a fairly darker blue. Like so. And now for grass. So for grass, there's a lot of things Clip Studio Paint has on the side here regarding, well, vegetation. So, what I do will make sure it's on top because it has that kind of order. Now you see that has things like that. Boom. And then I just... That's a decent starting point. But now I go darker. Not be darker. This one I'm gonna put in front so that the feet are covered. Oh, wait. Forgot to mention you can change it up anytime. And then we go even darker. As we go for the final bit of grass. Of course, you can also go lighter and lighter as well. And like put this behind that. You have a fairly decent looking grassland as is. You can blur a bit of the bottom, blur a bit in the background as well. And now, for anything star related, well, let's make sure we reset this. I do actually like just dotting it. Yeah, just various sizes dots. All around. Don't worry if there's a line or two there. It really doesn't matter. So long as you're dotting your sky, and then afterwards you blur it because stars are very far away. Now, clearly this is not how a night scene should look. So I simply copy it, paste it, move it down, And now to get a nice glowing effect, hold on. I just make the eyes glow wherever I want by just erasing the top layer of it, just like so. Because most irises are places where they will glow instead of the sclera. And boom. That's how I like it. And that's the end of this commentary of how I personally like to draw. So, stick around, because then it'll be a very quick speed paint of how everything was put together past the proportion part. Because I was silly and didn't record that. Anyways, have a nice day. Bye-bye!